Welcome to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, with your host, Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
Hey. Welcome to the number one landscape lighting show in the world. We are here in the Landscape Lighting Secrets studio, live from Salt Lake City. Actually, I'm in Orem, Utah. And Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Going to have a good show today, and hopefully you'll stick around and interact with me. What's up, the lighting geek? How you doing, brother? It's been fun hanging out with you, man. Hopefully you guys will interact with me today. I've got, we're going to be talking about some things that bother me. It's going to be a fun show. It's not going to be like a depressing, whiny show. We're going to talk about the things that bother you. So let me know if there's just like these pet peeves. Like, let me know in the comments. What things bother you? This could be pointless stuff that bothers you while you're out and about. It could be in business. It could be anything. It could be what things I bother you, or what I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase that, but if there's something I do that bothers you, just let me know. What's up, Facebook user? Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and put in your name or something, and I might be able to see your name, but maybe that's Paul. I don't know. It's usually Paul when it says Facebook user. Which, if that's the case, I'm very surprised because you're on like some exotic island right now. What's up, Andy Schwindler? How you doing, buddy? I'm excited for today's show. We're going to talk about things that bother me, and most of them should probably bother you too. So we're going to get into that. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the podcast so that more people can find out about it as well. What up, Facebook user? What up? And last week, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. Last week I went to Cincinnati. Beautiful Cincinnati, just beautiful. Actually, I didn't even go to Cincinnati. I went to the airport that's not in Cincinnati and hung out with some other lighting geeks. The geek was there, and went to the Haven training. So it was my first time really kind of getting the ins and outs of the product. So a lot of people always ask me, what do you think? What do you think? And now I feel like I'm in a better position to tell them what I think. So that was awesome. And I got to speak there for a few minutes. And that was really cool. So I was grateful for that opportunity to go and network and hang out with people and learn about a new product for myself. So also, just a quick reminder before we jump into the show, next week. Yeah, next week I'm going to Nashville. I'll be there for a mastermind that I joined, that I'm a part of. So I'll be going there quarterly now. And then right after that, I leave from Nashville and I go straight to Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'll be teaching a course, class, whatever you want to call it, Lighting Accelerator. So if you want to come, still have a couple spots left, lightingaccelerator.com. Go check that out and get registered. So those are my quick announcements. And yeah, it was really fun speaking at the Haven event. And there was a mixed room of people who I'd never met. Some people probably never knew who I was. There were some people I'd never met who did know who I was. And then I even had some clients there, had some friends and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. And it's always tricky when you're speaking like that because you don't really know, like, okay, who should I cater my message to? So what I do is I just try to really hone in on one person. And it's not like I'm looking at that person, but kind of before I'm like, okay, this is who I'm identifying, who I want to help today. And I don't know really exactly what person that is, but it's the type of person, right? So I really just try to speak to one person. So I started by just telling people that, if they're going to be a business owner, then they might as well start acting like a business owner. And, most business owners, I hate to say it, but most of us don't own a business. We own a job, right? So I probably did offend a few people, but that's all right, I guess. Like that's what you do. That's what happens. And so you can't please everyone. But the thing that I did was just try to focus in on and trying to help one person. And hopefully I helped more than that. But that's what I did. So, but what's been really fun about these events and stuff like that is being able to hang out with other people that have my same interests, right? And even more than that is meeting my clients. So there was a handful of clients there, and it was fun. We went out to dinner, get to know these people a little bit better than just like a Zoom meeting and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. And I did that, a couple weeks before at AOLP, and I think I need to start raising my prices because these guys tend to pick. They're like, "Oh, you're buying?" Yeah, and they pick like the most expensive steakhouse there is. They just like Google most expensive steakhouse ever invented, and then that's where we go. And so in Arizona, there was going to be about 30 people uh, going. We had like 30 of us going to dinner at AOLP. But then I also found out that it was actually the night of the awards dinner. And so not everyone went, which is fine. But it was actually kind of nice because it saved me a bunch of money. The place we went to is expensive. So I was like, okay, do the math, carry the one, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it would have been a lot of money. So, but I don't mind. I think it's awesome hanging out with these guys and getting to know them better and joking around at dinner and seeing who's going to get lost on the way to the bathroom and stuff like that. So, what's up, Truth Seeker? Thanks for being here. Appreciate your support. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. I've got a few things that bother me. And like I said, I need your interaction. If you are here, let me know in the comments what things bother you. And I mean, like, let me know what things bother you. And you don't even have to have good reasoning. You can just say what things bother you, right? But one of the things that really bothers me, which has nothing to do with this episode or show or lighting or anything, but when you have people over, whether they're at your house or you're at someone else's, but like if we have people over and we have a party, people grab like somebody, not I'm not going to name names, but someone will grab the chip dip, right? And then they like lean over like they're using the chip dip as their catch basin for the crumbs. And I'm just like, what? Now I can't eat the chip dip. Salsa, chip dip, whatever it is. It's just, are you with me? Like it really bugs me. I'm like, dude, that's not a catch basin. That's just the chip dip. It just stuff like that just really bothers me. So if there's stuff like that that bothers you, I want to know about it and I want to discuss it. So let me know if you have things like the catch basin chip dip, if that bothers you. But on a serious note, I want to get into some of the things that bother me about business and lighting and stuff like that. So one thing that really bothers me is McDonald's. I mean, there's a lot of things that bother me about McDonald's, but their fries are really good, so that doesn't bother me. But I my kids eat there. I don't even know why I take them there. I feel guilty as a parent, but they eat it and like they don't eat good dinner, but they eat that. So it's like we'll take them there and I'll steal a fry or whatever. But the thing that I can't stand about McDonald's is how are they so freaking successful? Like most of us are entrepreneurs, we're business owners, we're out there hustling, we're out there grinding. And we have success, like we make money, we enjoy our lives, whatever. But McDonald's food quality, I mean, let's face it, even if you frequent the McDonald's, like you have to admit that the food quality is not that good, right? It's actually terrible. Yet they continue to dominate the food industry. It's crazy. It's crazy to me how like there's a McDonald's by our house and we're driving back like after dinner. It's like 10:30 at night and the drive-through line is like crazy long, right? And it's unbelievable. Yes, Crystal, I'm talking about how bad McDonald's is. And it really is like there's this huge line and somehow they've been able to dominate the food industry, right? Yeah, in our businesses, right? Most of us have a lighting business. We like we get stuck on being the best, and it's really hard to scale. It's really hard to be the best when we get hung up on all these small details, right? What's up, Kevin? It's just bizarre, right? So the fact that we want to be the best is great, but it's also the thing that holds us back, right? And if we want to be able to reach more people, we're going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere. And I understand it's not for everybody. Like there's other types of business examples out there, restaurants and stuff like that, that also dominate their industry, right? But it blows my mind how a business like that has been able to dominate for this long, right? And so when you look at a McDonald's, there's a few kind of takeaways, a few things that I learned from it. And I had clients that owned McDonald's. When you are working for these people, they have tons of money. You ask them what they do. And I had several that owned several McDonald's. And it was cool to talk with them and kind of pick their brain and stuff like that. But, what struck me is these guys, they own like multiple, like they own 3 McDonald's, but they're home during the day. They can do whatever they want. I mean, they're not worried about like if someone forgot to order fries or not, right? Um, they're not worried about if the burgers are burned or undercooked or anything like that. Um, they're acting like business owners, right? Um, they're not acting like business operators, okay? And so, just I guess the takeaway from that is work on your business, and it's not a flip of a switch. Most of us don't have the money to buy into a franchise and spend millions of dollars to just, you know, buy into being an owner. So we started from the ground, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Most of us have been successful at that, but still, there's a process, there's a way to get to that. It just is going to take a little bit of time. So um, start working on your business, right? And don't get hung up with too much details working in the business. And then the second thing that I take away from a McDonald's example is, gosh, their standard operating procedures, they have to be amazing, right? Chick-fil-A, same thing. Their standard operating procedures have to be amazing. So develop your own SOPs that allow you to hire anyone to complete the job. And they, you'll go to certain locations that maybe don't implement them as well as others for both a McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. But for the most part, I mean, they get you through there really quick, right? And so they have their standard operating procedures are amazing. And it shows me that, yeah, you can teach anyone to be a cook with relative little experience by having simple standard operating procedures. So get your SOPs in place. And the easiest way to do that is go through your day and just document exactly what you do step by step. So uh, if you are laying out a job, literally record how you're laying that job out. I had one client who was nervous to hire someone. They've done everything themselves for over 20 years. And it's like, well, I can't replace myself. I can't do that. Why not? Well, because they're not going to say what I want, what I say to the client. They're not going to do the things I do. It's like, just write it down, right? And he did that, and remarkably, he's replacing himself, right? So, what's up, Taylor Flynn? How you doing, buddy? But it's not that hard to write your SOPs because you just have to write down exactly what you're doing, right? And that's all that McDonald's has is just these step-by-step procedures. And then over time, people start to naturally memorize them and get in routines and stuff like that. Then the third kind of takeaway I've got for McDonald's is know your clientele, right? I mean, fast food is not for everyone. There's people that would go there and be upset with the food quality or maybe the time or maybe the customer service, whatever it is, right? But they're not trying to market to everyone either, right? They know their client. They've identified their client avatar and they're going after them. It's someone who just wants fast food, right? And they've done that, right? If someone's looking for a nice sit down meal, and then they go there and they have a bad experience, well, then McDonald's didn't do a good enough job identifying their ideal client avatar, and they attracted the wrong individual, right? So they've done a really good job identifying who it is that is really they're trying to get as a client. And then finally, I think the last point I want to take away is what fat can you trim from your business to be more efficient? Um, like I said, we want to be the best lighting designers, the best installers. We want to be the best at customer service, all this stuff, and still have the best price. But at some point, you're going to have to trim something, right? There's sacrifices that will need to be made. And so for me, I know it's not for everybody, right? But for me, I was willing to sacrifice some design because if I could limit the number of SKUs that I was installing, I could be faster with my design, faster with my install, faster with maintenance, warranty, everything else, right? But I still delivered an exceptional experience. The customer didn't know that I wasn't giving them 50 different fixtures on one property, right? And there's some people that do the exact opposite, and they're not really loyal to one manufacturer or something like that, and they'll just use whatever it takes for that job. Where I'd rather streamline things and keep things simple, right? But again, I've identified my client. I know what's going to make them happy, and it's not that they're expecting a 10 and I just give them a 10. They're expecting a 10 and I give them a 20, 30, 50, 100. Like I was wowing these people, right? And so there's still a way to trim the fat and really be more efficient with your processes so that you can serve more people, right? And at the end of the day, if you truly believe that you are the best at what you do, uh, part of the next step should be like, how do I serve more people, right? So um, that's what I got to say about McDonald's. So we've got some comments in here. I'm going to do a quick break and then I'm going to read those because I have a really hard time reading and talking at the same time. So I'm going to read those. And then again, if you are here, contribute. Let me know what things bother you. McDonald's bothers me that they're so freaking successful and they don't even have the highest quality product. So that's one thing that bothers me. Let me know what bothers you in the comments. And I'm going to read some of these as I take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about stage 2, the next thing that bothers me that should probably bother you as well. So we will be right back.
There's more to landscape lighting than just throwing a fixture under a tree. The best display is one that was not only designed well, but also stands the test of time. High-quality fixtures and bulbs are key to long-term success and customer happiness. At Emery Allen, our focus is on creating only the highest performance landscape bulbs in the industry, with long-lasting components that don't degrade or flicker with age. Each bulb's appearance is always consistent throughout your lighting project. We offer a wide range of base types, beam spreads, and color choices that will fit your needs. To learn more, give us a call at 843-480-4473 or email us at info@emeryallen.com.
Are you tired of working dawn to dusk 7 days a week and still struggling? Working hard isn't your issue. What you need to focus on is the business side of your business. That's where Profits Unlimited comes in. With our 42 years of experience in the industry, we have faced the challenges you are going through. We can help you with bidding, contracts, marketing, selling, and much more. Check us out at profitsrus.com. That's profitsareus.com when you are ready to earn what you deserve. And don't forget, tune into Profit Time at 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.
Hey, this is Jeff Hester, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Go to emeryallen.com. Check them out. In fact, Emery Allen came up today. Someone was in one of the Facebook groups, and if this has not happened to you, probably will. I mean, it will. It will. They were saying that their garage door, the client's garage door, wouldn't work when the lights were on, and what that is called EMI. Electromagnetic interference, I believe. Yeah, I think I said it right. But basically, yeah, I had that happen, and Emery Allen's bulbs will help that prevent that from happening, because there's interference basically when some LEDs are turned on, and so they have these EMI shields that will block that so that it doesn't interfere with customers' gates, garage doors, stuff like that. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, some of the comments while we were at break, it is a free market, and A lot more people want McDonald's than lighting. That is true, unfortunately. But you know what? It's up to us to create the demand. And that's why it's so important to do advertising and to wrap your trucks and stuff like that, because a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. And every job you do is also advertisement to everyone else in that neighborhood of what's possible. So it's up to us to create the demand. When customers say we need time to think about your proposal, I wait a day or two after, then follow back up. Listen, if someone says they want to think about it, I just tell them, what is it that you want to think about? Right? Because I'd rather just try to work that out right then and there. Usually they just want to talk to each other for a few minutes. So I'll excuse myself, let them do that, and come back in and collect the check, baby. When people think dark sky rules apply everywhere and that you can only use downlights. I know, man. I cannot stand that. I had to meet I don't even know who it was, but I had to meet somebody because they thought we had violated dark sky in their neighborhood. But luckily we met them at night, did the walkthrough, and they were like, wow, this looks incredible. I'm like, yeah, I know. So, that is kind of frustrating. Let's see. Once you've eaten shit sandwiches so long, you don't even realize the better taste coming from anything else. All right. So let's jump into the second thing. If you guys have any more, thanks for sharing. If you guys have any more things that bother you, let me know. I'm very interested in knowing. The next thing that bothers me, NFTs. NFTs. N-freaking T's. This is nuts, guys. People are selling purple apes for millions of dollars. There he is. What's up, Paul? I can't believe you are here from beautiful St. Lucia, man. I mean, that is making me feel bad about myself right now. But thanks for being here, man. That is freaking awesome. We are international now. So I'm just talking about things that bother me. The purple ape thing, dude. I mean, you can create an NFT and sell it for millions of dollars. How is that not like more frustrating to people? I have people not confident enough to charge $250 a light, but they're selling freaking purple apes for millions of dollars, right? So you guys have to understand that people are willing to pay crazy amounts of money for crazy stuff. And when you're providing them an actual valuable service and an amazing design and experience that can actually affect their health and their personal mental health, dude, you should be charging a premium, right? And so don't be worried you're charging too much, because people are literally selling these things for millions of dollars. And you don't need to feel guilty, right? One tip that I will share with you is this happened to me early on. When I started my business, I really I was just overwhelmed. I wanted to hire more help. I wanted to hire someone to answer the phones, but I just couldn't afford it. I mean, I just was like, man, if I pay them 30 grand a year, then I'm going to make 30 less. It just, the numbers did not add up, right? I was making enough money to pay for myself, but that was kind of it. And I don't remember if it was like a flip of a switch or what, but I learned through that experience that you have to price like who you want to be, not like who you are. And that may sound super simple, but no one does this. Price like who you want to be, not like who you are. So today you might be like, well, yeah, dude, I only have to charge $200 a light because it only cost me this much money, and I got the materials and I got one helper or whatever. But you're never going to get out of the rut if you do that. You're never going to be able to afford to hire an office manager, an office assistant, salespeople, technicians, maintenance people, general manager. Like, the money doesn't just come out of nowhere. You have to create the money, right? And so start acting like you have that overhead. Put two new trucks in your budget today. Put an office manager's salary in your budget today, and you'll see real quickly why it's so important to charge a premium price. All right. Because at your prices right now, you just simply can't afford to do that. Right. Maybe you're okay making 50 grand a year. Most of the places in America, that's not enough. Right. And so, seriously, make that change today. Just start pricing like who you want to be, not like who you are. So literally, even if you don't have all those trucks, if you don't have a shop, if you don't have an office manager, put that in like you do, then redo your pricing, and you're going to be like, wow, yeah, I'm definitely undercharging. So that will help you out, because you'll sell your next deal at an increased price, and you'll hopefully send me a check in the mail or something. So most of us feel guilty charging. I don't know why. But do this. You can raise your price by 10% today, and literally you're not going to have any repercussion. Like your next job that you're going to go on, if you were, whatever you were charging, I don't care if it was 200 a light or 500 a light, just raise it by 10%. And I promise you, nothing different is going to happen. I mean, you're going to close the deal, but and if the thing is, if you didn't, like, let's say you're charging $200 a light and then you raise your price to 220 or hell, even 300 and you don't get it. If you weren't going to get it at if you're saying, well, I'm having a hard time closing deals at 200, it's not any harder closing deals at 300. In fact, it almost gets easier because you separate yourself from the competition. And when it's real close and everyone's tight knit, and then you have this leader out in the front that's like, oh yeah, why are you guys way higher? Well, let me tell you why we're way higher, right? And so it's actually, in my opinion, you basically create this blue ocean. Everyone's fighting. It's a feeding frenzy. It's a red ocean. And you just move over here and it's like, you know what? I'm just going to win by charging way more than you. I don't want to just be a little bit more than my competition. I want to be way more than my competition because we're way better than them, right? And so if you guys will take me up on my advice and raise your price by $50 a light, who thinks they can raise their price on their next sell $50 a light? If you can do that and you go out and sell 1,000 fixtures this year, which maybe that seems high to you. It's not that many lights, actually. That's kind of like an average, lighting company. Maybe you do way more than that, right? But maybe you do way under. But 1,000 lights, $50 per light. You're going to make an extra $50,000, you guys. $50,000? Like, and you're not going to give me a percentage of that? Come on. But seriously, it's that easy to make an extra 50 grand this year. And what's nice is you don't have to spend any money to do that. You don't even have to change anything about what you're doing. Now you should do a bunch of stuff different, but this one thing doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to hire more people, buy more trucks, do all that stuff, right? You should do all these things. You should hire me, but you don't have to, right? So just make an extra 50 grand. Like, what's holding you back? Okay. And my man, Nick Burks, he commented when I posted the ad for this episode or whatever, I talked about the things that are going to bother me or that I'm going to talk about that bother me. And he actually mentioned pricing. He said, one of the things, it's his own head trash. It's improper to talk about money, right? Have you guys ever thought that? Have you thought, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about money yet? And it's just hard to talk about. We've all experienced that at some point or another, right? But honestly, you're doing a disservice to your client if you're not talking about it. And talk about it early on. Like, let them know this is very expensive. And I think most people thought I was joking. Actually, at the Haven training, someone brought up the fact, they were saying, they were kind of asking about their sales process and asking for advice with pricing and stuff like that. And I was not joking, although I think half the room thought I was joking. One of the things I'll do is I'll throw in another option and say, listen, most people can't afford this option, but I want to show it to you anyway. Most people can't afford it. And when you do that to someone who's wealthy, it's a challenge, baby. And they want to be like, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And they'll show you the cars. They'll show you the pool. They'll show you all this stuff, their wine cellar that costs several $100,000. And you got them at that point, right? So I love to challenge the wealthy and say, yeah, you may not be able to afford this, but let me show it to you anyway. And they're always getting the checkbook after that. But honestly, you got to talk pricing. You don't be afraid of it. Don't go in there and say, okay, I'll come back in 2 days and prepare a proposal. Like, they called you for a reason. And one of the reasons is to find out how much this stuff costs. Right. And so, like, just tell them how much it costs. Like, what are we afraid of? It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Like, just get it over with. Just get it over with. You could do it slow and make it wait 3 days, 3 weeks, or just give them the price. Right. And if they say, well, it's too much, how much did you think it would be? Right. Continue to ask questions until you peel back those layers of the onion and just close the deal. Right. But here's the thing. Some of you are going to take me up on the $50,000 deal, which is awesome. I mean, I think you should. Let's see. I'm a pressure washing business, Australia. Hey, international. I up my cost looking at 50K to 80K profit jump this year. That is freaking awesome. That's awesome. So some of you are going to take me up on my offer and just make an extra 50 grand this year. And if you do 2,000 fixtures, it's 100,000. And if you do 3,000, it's 150. I mean, I'm not going to do math all day long for you. Just do it yourself, but just make free money. There's literally free money sitting out there waiting for you to grab it. And you're like, no, I don't want to. Meanwhile, they're selling purple apes for millions of dollars. So just go get the money. It's out there, right? And if you don't believe me, Try raising your price by 10%. So whatever you're charging today, just add 10%. That's easy. Like my daughter could do that, right? So just add 10%. And here's the cool thing about a really small price increase like this. It's a huge add to your bottom line. Like in most, every business is different, but in most businesses, a 10% price increase. So that's just straight profit. That adds a minimum 20%, sometimes 30, 40, and even 50% to your bottom line. Like most of you guys are not charging enough. So you're scraping by making 10, 20%. So then when you make 10%, you're literally doubling your profits, right? Just by a 10%. But the cool thing is that means that a 10% price increase, with a 10% price increase, you can afford to lose up to 20% of your clients. Which why would you want to lose 20% of your clients, right? Well, because sometimes it's like the 80-20 rule. Sometimes you actually do want to get rid of the 20%. Actually, that's actually not the 80-20 rule, but the 20% is a pain in the ass. Then you drop them and you make the exact same amount of money. So instead of working 5 days a week, you work 4 days a week. You drop that 20% and you make the exact same amount of money. And on Fridays, you go hunting, you go to the lake, you go skiing, you sit around the pool, you watch TV, you play video games, do whatever you want. You just figured out how to be more efficient, right? So that's why I'm such a preacher on price, because it's so important and it's the easiest fix for every business, yet it's the thing we struggle with the most. So by now, if you have been listening to more than one episode, you know that you should have already raised your price. But I want to submit that challenge again. Maybe you raised your price 6 months ago when you first started listening or something. I want to give you that challenge again, like raise it again, because listen, this last year has been unlike anything we've ever seen. And we've all experienced price increases ourselves, right? So we're now paying more. So if you raise your price just by 10%, that might just be enough to keep up and break even, right? You might have to raise your price by 20, 30, 40%. Not only to just break even on what you did last year, but like you're in business. Like it's okay to make money. Like it's definitely okay to make money. You're not running a charity. If you want to donate to charity after you make an extreme amount of profit, that's fine. You should do that. If you want to give your money back to your clients, that's fine. You could do that. But listen, you also have yourself and your employees to take care of. And instead of complaining that people want more money, find out a way to make more money so that you can pay them more money, right? So let me know, guys. We're going to do another quick break. Let me know what bothers you. Do NFTs bother you? Does McDonald's bother you? Maybe not like it bothers me, but I don't know. I'm kind of weird like that. I got 2 more things that I want to share that really bother me. Actually, I got a lot more, but 2 that are like actually important ones. One thing that I will say that bothers me, does this bother you guys? When you're going to a 4-way stop and like one of the other 3 stops, they get there way before you. Like they're stopped. Like it's their turn to go. And you're still kind of coming to a stop, but they stop and then they give you the hand signal and they're like directing you like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. Like you were there, you go. It's like, my pride takes over. I'm like, no, you're not going to tell me how to drive. You're not going to tell me when to go. Like I'll go when I want and I'll go after you because you were here first. Does that bother you guys, or am I just weird? Because that bothers me. I'm like, I'm not gonna do what this person says. And then I end up going. They're waving and I end up going. I'm like, I'm only going because I want to go. I'm not going because you want me to go. I'm just going because I want to go because I'm going to beat you. And I change the narrative. Like, no, I'm going because I want to. This is on me. This is me making the decision. I'm not going because you waved at me. I don't know. That might just be me. All right, let's do another quick break. Let me know what bothers you guys. Is it the 4-way stops? Is it the chip bowl? Is it McDonald's? Let me know. Let me know if you got a new one. We'll be right back.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's the Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Yo. All right, welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by the one, the only Emery Allen. Man, it's talking about stuff that bothers me. Are you guys mad that I'm talking about stuff that bothers me? I'm usually like an optimistic person, but listen, I'm human. Things bother me. Even if it is just a guy waving me on at a four-way stop, just trying to be a nice guy, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. I'll drive when I want to drive. Dude, that is freaking awesome. Whoever Facebook user is, 160 fixtures at $512.40 each. How'd you come up with that price? That's freaking awesome, unless the fixtures cost $500, right? But seriously, that is how it's done. I love that. You guys, there are huge projects going on every single day. Why are you not on every single one of them? It always made me mad to drive by like my home turf and be like, who's doing that lighting job? And usually it wasn't even like a respectable company. It was just like some, I don't even know who it was, handyman or something doing it, you know? So I like this song. Third thing that really bothers me, even though I've already mentioned 5, social media. Here we are broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube and all the other social media. But here's what bothers me about it. Free advice is worth every penny you pay for it. And what bothers me about it is everyone relies on social media too much. I think it's awesome that we have groups. I think it's awesome that we have community. But, you know, there's just questions like, how much should we charge for this? What do you do for this? And again, I love the idea of community. I love the idea of helping each other out. Just because I didn't have that doesn't mean I'm bitter and I'm like, oh man, I wish just because I didn't have it, you shouldn't, or whatever. I think it's great, right? But honestly, there's a lot of bad advice out there, okay? And you might be listening right now, watching right now, going, this is bad advice, right? That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, but there's just so much bad advice out there. People saying like how much to charge, or saying how to do their sales, or how to price stuff, or how to do their installs. And I'm just like, oh man, there's just some cringeworthy stuff out there. Sometimes you just got to take some risks and experiment and try things on your own. Okay. So I guess a couple points. One, you know, it's okay to ask for advice, but understand just the answer you get, you might not just like take it as gospel. You might still have to like get a few people's opinion and formulate your own solution, right? And then understand that you don't have to like have all the answers in order to take action. And that's really called risk, right? You don't have to have all the information to make a move. You don't have to wait to have a perfect system in order to start. I see a lot of new people coming into the industry, and they're holding themselves back because they're unwilling to take risks. And quite frankly, even veterans, even people that have been doing lighting 5, 10, 15, even longer than me, doing 20, 25 years, they're holding themselves back because they want to minimize risk. And trust me, I've been there. Like that's normal thinking. It's normal behavior to human behavior to want to minimize risk. But here's the thing. Risk is a prerequisite to success. I seriously, I have not found anybody with substantial success, right? Which I know we all define it differently and everything else, but just like I haven't found anyone with any level of like substantial success that didn't take a bunch of risk to get there. Like there's a lot of risk that you got to take in order to do that. So what's up, Al Levy? Leave. I think I don't even know if I said that right. I probably screwed it up, but it's important to know who is giving the advice and what's their pedigree and track record. Very, very good. Very important. And here's the thing, like, I've met more and more people as I travel around and stuff like that. And, at first people didn't know who I was. So they were like unwilling to take my advice, which that's fine. Like you said, like if they don't know who it is or whatever, but the more you get to know someone and you understand what their background is and what their experience is, then you'd be like, okay, I like this person for this. I'm going to take their advice for this, but maybe I don't want to get their advice for this because they're not as much of an expert in it. Right. But again, the social media thing, I just think it slows us down. It distracts us. I mean, even me, like I'll go in to post something important in my private landscape lighting secret group. And then I'm like scrolling and it's been like 3 days. And I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, what's going on? Where am I? And I forget what I was going to post about. So what the hell? Like, just don't scroll, just post, get it over with, get out of there, get out. I mean, seriously, guys, there's some bad advice going on social media. So from designs, installs, wiring, sales, pricing, there's some pretty terrible stuff, but there's also some pretty awesome advice being given as well. So you got to be able to sort through it and figure out really what works best. Don't sell by the fixture, even though I actually do like flat rate pricing, like price per the fixture. If you tell a customer, for example, that, well, how much is it going to be? Well, it's, $200 a light. Oh, it's $400 a light. You're screwed. Like, and then some people say, well, no, I've been doing it like that a long time. Well, that's fine, but you're still screwed because just because you've been able to get it to work with some people doesn't mean it's the best way, right? And most of us have a hard time taking advice because, if things have been working for us, then why change it? But honestly, most of the time it could work way better, right? It could work way, way better. I know, like some people on quotes, for example, they'll say, how do you guys do price maintenance, or how do you price installs, and what do you break apart? And there's all these different opinions on this stuff, and I'll give you mine. But if you tell someone, for example, that, hey, I think this install is going to take us 8 hours, and then it only takes you 6, I know this by experience, they're going to come to you and want to pay you less money because that happened to me, right? And I'm not going to do it for less. Like it was a project, right? So I actually, as much as I want to be transparent, I'm not transparent to the degree that everybody thinks that you need to be, because that could get you in a ton of trouble, right? And so in those situations, when I was doing that, because I would list how many hours it would take us, I'd say, listen, if I put 8 hours and it took us 16, and I actually submitted an invoice to you, even though you agreed on this one price, but I said, hey, it took us, more hours than originally planned, would you pay that invoice? Most people wouldn't. If they're being honest, no, they'd be like, no, we agreed on this this one price. So you don't have to feel like you're being dirty by leaving out information. I mean, basically what I'm agreeing to do is transform this property. I don't care if it takes me 10,000 feet of wire and 10,000 fixtures, or 5 feet of wire and 5 lights. That doesn't really matter how long. It's just, this is the price. It's 30 grand and you're going to be blown away. That's what I'm selling. I'm selling that dream. I'm selling that vision. I'm selling the experience. I'm not selling a checklist of hours and materials. Like, people don't care about that, right? And they do because they'll want to be a bean counter on it, but that's just not how it works. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry to say. So make sure you're utilizing social media the right way. Don't get sucked in. I'll share an experience I just had, actually. So I use social media quite a bit now, but it's to grow my business. It's to get my voice out there. It's to let people get to know me. And my goal, honestly, just literally speaking honestly, is to put my voice, my material, my content out there so much that people will either unsubscribe because they're sick of it and just like, dude, I can't stand this guy, or they go to my website and they sign up, because those are the only two really options that you should do, right? And so, but it's a challenge. You get sucked into the scrolling and stuff like that. So the other day I made my very first reel on Instagram. It's just REEL, right? A reel. And I don't know. I'd heard of them, seen them, whatever. I just never did it. So I made my first reel. It was nothing impressive. It was just like documenting my trip to Haven and stuff like that. Some videos, some pictures. It was probably like a 40-second long reel. And it's got over 3,500 views, which is awesome because that's 3,500 more views than I would have had if I didn't do it. Right. And so now more people know about the LLS movement. Right. And, you know, when I do a normal video or a story or something like that, I might get like 100 or 200 views. So you can use social media. It can be awesome. It should help you grow your business. But beyond that, like, it's just a waste of time. So go on there instead of just like liking a bunch of stuff and whatever, like go on and use it as a tool, right? And don't make a tool of yourself by scrolling. So don't let it consume you. Make sure that you are posting on it more than you're just scrolling and liking. So that's my rant on social media. So let me know, guys, in the comments if other things bother you than are bothering me. So far, we've talked about McDonald's, we've talked about NFTs, we've talked about social media, talked about stop signs. What else we got? Oh, dude, does this bother you guys? Now, I mean, this didn't used to exist, but now when you go, even if you just order food at a counter, like it's not a server and they're not serving you and cleaning up. Like you literally like take the food to your table and then you clean up your table and everything else. So, but you pay and then it says, how much would you like to tip? It doesn't say, do you want to tip? It's like, how much do you like to tip? And it like zero is not an option. Like you have to hit other if you want to do that. They make you feel like a real douche by doing that. But does that bother you guys? And I'm like a big tipper, like, but just when it's forced like that, I'm like, wait, no, what do you mean? How much do I want to tip? Do you guys want me to cook my food too? So let me know what things bother you guys. We're going to do our final break here and we'll be right back with the last thing that bothers me that should probably bother you too.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turfs Up radio hosts, including Heculus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian. My name is not Brian. Brian Lee, Wayne, the Prophet Bowles.
One opportunity.
His son, Daniel. Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran.
Giddy up.
And many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Yeah! Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your clients, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for your services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you'll be connected with other pros in the industry who want to do business with you. And not to mention property owners who need help with everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join turfsupnation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. Just remember to sign up for this free service. Go to turfsupnation.com.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, emeryallen.com. So, quick question. What's up, James? Good to see you, man. Looked like you had a fun time touring the western portion of the U.S. Yeah, I do. I actually just had a guest on last week. I think it was last week. Who's a recruiter for like the service industry, which is amazing. I just met them this year, and it's Sean Day with Blue Skies Recruiting. So I can tag him when I'm done here, I'll jump on the Facebook and tag him on there so you can get with him. Really good ideas, really cool stuff. I just use him to hire an assistant for myself, but I've never used him to hire like a technician or something like that. But that's what they specialize in is the service industry, which is pretty cool. But for now, I'm just kind of complaining, talking about things that bother me. One of the things, I guess I might be an impatient driver because I talked about the stop sign thing where people are like motioning me on, like, come on, come on, come on. I'm like, no, I ain't going. You're not going to tell me how to drive. But the other thing that drives me crazy, pun intended, I guess, is when people will only turn left on a green arrow. Like there could be like a huge gap and a flashing yellow and it says yield on flashing yellow. Like it's fully legal. But they're like, I ain't going anywhere. Until you show me that green arrow, I'll sit my ass right here. Like that really bothers me. It has nothing to do with lighting. So let's get into the lighting stuff. What bothers me about business and lighting and stuff like that. The last one is, you know what really bothers me is that people, I know I'm about to lose half the audience in one sentence. So stick with me. I mean, at least for the next few minutes. But it really bothers me that people don't like used car salesmen. Should that bother me? I've never sold used cars, but I just have a lot of empathy for these guys. You know, a lot of people refer to them like, "Oh, you don't want to be a used car salesman." I'm like, well, like they're human. Like, why they have families? Like, what is it about used car salesmen? Like, why are we so against them? I feel like we as a nation should stand up and protest for them and be marching the streets and, you know, just calling for their support. I don't even know how to protest, but if you do and you want to support the used car salesman industry, I mean, there's got to be somebody besides me that can like organize this. But people associate good sales techniques as shady or being like a used car salesman. I'm like, but it's like a skill. Like it's something that actually is effective, right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad products, bad food, bad services, everything else that they're really good at sales, and so they're growing faster, bigger, whatever. And then there's a lot of like really awesome products, a lot of services, a lot of good business owners out there, a lot of good companies, and they suffer with marketing and sales, and like no one knows about them, or they don't get the respect that they deserve, right? And so actually Ryan Jaso had a good post the other day in one of the groups, and I thought it was hilarious because I actually liked what he said in the post, but everybody else it like, you know, ticked him off and stuff like that. And so he was getting a lot of pushback, and I just laughed. I was like, yes, finally somebody else and not me. So I didn't defend him or anything. I was like, yes, this is freaking awesome. But I did actually agree with his point. You know, if you're really good at design, if maybe you're really like, you want to be like the installer of the year. I just lost two. Hey, at least we still got Australia, right? I love the fact that we are in Australia now. So anything to please the Aussies. But you know, maybe you're really good at design. Maybe you want to be installer of the year. Maybe you're great at customer service, or maybe you're just a total badass and you're an amazing entrepreneur, right? Great at everything in business, right? But if you're not great at sales, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. And this is, I was going to say this is not an opinion, this is a fact, but I don't know if it's a fact. I think if I say it's a fact, it's a fact. I'm just going to say it's a fact. It's not even my opinion. It's just a fact. Because I guess technically it's my show. If someone says something different, I just mute them. I'm not even sure. But I'm just so passionate about sales. It's my calling. It's what I'm good at. I think that with lighting, of course, design is important. I think install, like customer service, all those things are important, because if you're really good at sales and then you're not so good at all those other things, it's hard to build momentum because you're not going to get repeat business. You're not going to get the referrals. You're not going to get all that stuff, right? And even someone who's not as good at sales can make up for some of that stuff by being an exceptional designer or install or whatever, because they take care of that client. But I'm just here to tell you that if you don't practice all these things, right? So for me, I'm naturally good at marketing, naturally good at sales. I have to work on being a better technician, and with installs or with design. Like I work on those things, right? And so maybe you're naturally talented from an artistic standpoint. It's okay to admit that sales is important, and it doesn't have to be a dirty word. I don't really like even calling it sales. designers, which I called them, were just lighting designers, right? And so when you introduce someone as like, oh, this is my salesperson, or I'm going to send a salesperson to meet with you, that's just, it's a dirty word to most people. So I think that just rephrasing it, and just calling yourself a designer will help with that, right? But it's something that you need to practice. If not, I really truly believe that you're missing out on a ton of opportunity if you're not really, really good on this one thing. And it's hard to hear that we need to change and we need to be different, because most of the time what we're already doing is already working. Like, it's amazing how many amazing business owners are in this industry, and they've been around for a long time. So that tells me they're doing something right. And it's almost the thing that holds them back too, because they're like, well, I must be doing something right because I'm still here. And most businesses fail after 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, right? Well, just because you've been doing it the same way since day one, and you've been doing it 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, you have that thought of like, well, it's not broke, don't fix it. But honestly, like, we don't know what we don't know. So just because something is working, we think we're good. But what we don't know is a small shift could mean I'm talking huge gains in our favor. And I'm living proof of this, because I thought I knew everything. I thought I was doing things right, right? And as soon as I start to make these subtle shifts in pricing, in sales, in marketing, in design, install, all these different things, right? Your future changes dramatically. Think about the example I thought of. Think about beam spread and how that works. So at the actual light source, at the LED, if you have two exact same brightness, same lumen output LEDs, right? At the light source, it doesn't matter what degree the lens is. It's the same. It's the same lumens, right? But when you go through that lens and now the light starts to spread, now again, they both started with the exact same amount of lumen output, right? Yet now are completely different just a few feet away. And that's kind of how business is. So if you could just adjust your angle, right? Adjust your beam spread just slightly, you'll be surprised how much difference you'll see down the road. And these things it doesn't impact you immediately. So you just continue doing what you're doing, right? Meanwhile, there's others out there. I promise you, there's others out there around the United States, around the world, in Australia, Solo Boss. And there's other people out there that are working on their business and adjusting their trajectory and changing their beam spread, right? And they're going to be that much further ahead of you in just 6, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and beyond, right? And so it's that important to really just make these small changes. And if you're thinking, man, this is so hard, like I can't do all this, like just start small. That's why I said if you don't want to just like, throw the lid off and raise your price by a ton, just do 10%, right? Do what you can. I think I'm going to cry too. This is getting deep. But seriously, like, just understand that these small changes, if you'll make them today, are going to affect your future greatly, right? So you can either keep putting them off and keep hearing, or you can start listening and start implementing. And that is the key to traction, guys. If you want to get if you want to get momentum in your business, you have to start somewhere. You have to start getting traction, and the only way to get traction is start implementing. So whether it's one thing from this show today, whether it's one thing from a seminar you attend, a book you read, whatever it is, every action you do, take one thing and implement it. That if you can do that, I promise you, like, a week from now, you're going to be that much better off. A year from now, 5 years, and everything else. So I want to encourage you to start taking action in your business. So listen, guys, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you putting up with me and my the things that bother me. And thanks for sharing some of the things that bother you guys. Let me see if I have any others that bother me that are just ridiculous. Which one of the things I shared, which one do you guys agree with or disagree with the most? Should it bother me that people will like motion me at the four-way stop? I think that's the thing that bothers me most now that I think about it. Oh, the last thing that bothers me is when I'm getting gas. I put my card in. I should just be able to like select the thing and get gas. But it takes like 3 or 4 minutes. And that's like, what's your customer number? What's your zip code? Do you want a car wash? Do you want this? Do you want that? It's like, just give me the gas, right? So I guess maybe what you guys are learning about me today is I'm a very impatient person. So let me know what bothers you guys. Even if you are catching on the replay, let me know in the comments. And look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for your support. Really, really appreciate you all. I really do. You'll never know how much. So thanks so much. Remember, keep working on your business and keep moving forward.